Hey guys, it's me Marty and welcome to this week's edition of First Impression Fridays here on Diamonds and Denim. So here's what I have for y'all today. Today I have a LORAC Pro Palette. Bear with me. I don't have the LORAC Pro Palette 1. I don't have the LORAC Pro Palette 2. I don't have the LORAC Pro Palette 3. Today I will be reviewing the LORAC Pro Palette 4, and I am so excited about it. So this is the actual palette itself. I'm gonna keep the box in hand just to kind of talk about the packaging a little bit, but this palette retails for $39. I got mine from Macy's, but they're available at Ulta. They're available anywhere LORAC is sold, and LORAC is sold a lot of places. So you do get 16 shades, 8 shimmers, 8 mattes. You also get and you can see mine is still in here because I have so many of them, the LORAC behind the scenes eye primer, so to go with your palette. So you're not just paying for the palette, you're also paying for the primer, which that primer is my favorite eyeshadow primer. Also, the LORAC Pro Palette 3 is my favorite eyeshadow palette, and I have a bunch to choose from. So for me to say my favorite, it's a big deal. If you want more information on this palette, or you want to know what I think about it, or how I used it to get this look, because I did use it tonight to get this eyeshadow look, you can just keep on watching. Thanks. Okay, guys, so let's talk. Where is the camera on this thing? The outside of it is it's this like kind of maroon color. So the front, it has the regular old LORAC Los Angeles Pro Palette 4, Pro Palette 4 mini behind the scenes eye primer, 16 eyeshadows total. Right here, you can see the little primer. I've used it so much. It is one of my favorite primers, though. I will say that. Eyeshadow primers, it's my favorite eyeshadow primer. I actually keep it out on the desk because I just use it all the time, so I don't see the need to put it back and take it out and everything. Let me say this already. I love the way the boxes are constructed for LORAC. I actually did the LORAC 2 and 3 palette, and then I also reviewed the original Pro palette and all that junk, and all of the packaging is pretty much the exact same. On the back, they have a readout of the palette, how the colors look and how they're aligned and all that stuff. They have pro techniques. I mean, okay, and they tell you like which ones to use. Like they have their own little tutorials back here. Maybe one day we can try that. Today's not that day though. So what I love about the box is if you do choose to keep the box, you can slide it out of the top or the bottom. Instead of them opening on the side, this is the only brand I can think of that has it where you slide it out on the top or on the bottom. So we just unhook this little thing here. I do like the touches they give, like the Pro Palette 4 thing here on the top. So the thing with LORAC, they are a little bit pricey. Okay, beautiful. This is the actual palette itself. And this is why LORAC is one of the few brands that I always throw the boxes away, because the box is so big and bulky for a palette that is so slim and like just tiny and streamlined. So this one came from Macy's. Macy's is always doing sales where they'll do like currently right now it's 15% off beauty purchases. So let's open it up together for the first time. One, I love the packaging. The packaging is always the same though, because at this point I now have all of them. So the fact that it's purple like this makes me think that there's going to be a lot of purple in it. I kind of saw on the back of the box right here that there is a lot of purple, pinks, and like mauves in it. But the thing with that is you never really know until you open it yourself and look at it, because things photograph so weird. And you guys won't even really know what it looks like because of the camera. The camera still will photograph kind of odd. So, or not odd, but it can skew the colors a little bit. So opening it up, I'm excited. Okay. Nice. Again, looks like the rest of them. Something I noticed about this one, the top that's supposed to protect the colors is stuck to the top of the thing. I've never had that issue before. Keep these because of the fact that I have a really maybe even unresolved or unwarranted fear of getting my mirror dirty. So I always keep these little plastic things that are on top. So immediately I do want to start playing with it, and then we'll swatch it and do all that other stuff later. This mirror is annoying me that it's in my shot. Hold on a second. Actually, shooting at my vanity has such big pros and cons. All my makeup stuff is right here, so like I don't need to go anywhere. But at the same time, it's annoying because like the mirrors are here and all that other stuff is here, and it's just... Okay, guys, so my eyes are already set and primed and all of that stuff, so I'm ready to just get right into the actual tutorial. The actual test out. The palette itself is so gorgeous. So I'm going to start by going with Amaretto, which is this orangey shade, as my transition, which is gorgeous. amaretto. I'm just going to take a little bit on this fluffy bow gouache brush. It's giving me a little teeny bit of fallout. Again, just a reminder, I did use their primer to make this, to prime my eyes today, because I always like to stick to, whoa, that's a lot more than I was expecting to pick up. And I didn't dip it, like, y'all saw how I dipped it. It was not that hard for it to be that pigmented. So this is a really pigmented palette. So what that means is you will have to exercise a little bit of caution when using it. But even though I took that big swath of it, amaretto, there's still not really a lot of fallout on it. But anyway. And as I often do in a method, in an effort to not bore y'all to death, and in the efforts of time, I'm going to not do both eyes with y'all. I'm going to do this eye with y'all since it's closer. And the other one, I'll just settle off camera, right? That's cool. For the crease, I'm going to go in with, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do rosebud, but I'm going to darken it a little bit with black currant. So lately, I've been doing that a lot, where I've been kind of mixing colors. Like, I'll kind of tap them. So I'm going to tap rosebud. And then I'm going to tap black currant in there too. So I'm going to do a little bit of rosebud right here. Toot. And a little bit of black currant. Yeah. And like for black currant, I literally used a dot, because as pigmented as amaretto was, I am not trying to get that all over my eye. This is gorgeous though, y'all, already. And the way I always do it, I put a dot in the middle of my crease, see right here? And then I just kind of blend it back and forth. And I'm using the LORAC Pro Palette mirror that came with it. I really like this. It's very pretty. Very pretty. I'll bet this palette could get pretty dramatic. You know what? Actually, let me zoom y'all out a little bit. Sorry, guys. I feel like y'all couldn't really see. So now hopefully y'all will see a little better. Okay, so this is where we're at so far with our look. So far, we have just a transition and a crease color down. So I'm going to now take a blending brush. I'm going to just go ahead and use the first one I grabbed, which is from SL Miss Glam, I think. And I'm going to just blend these two together a little bit more. And all I'm doing is little circles just to swirl and blend those two beautiful shades together. So I'm going to grab milk and carve out my lid, and then we'll start on that look. So I am back. I'm sorry if y'all hear that ceiling fan in the background. I want to start messing with the lid work, and honestly, the lid work is what I'm the most excited about with this palette, because this line, and excuse soft pearl, I don't know if you guys can see, but I hit it with my nail earlier and some of it came out. So I'm just gonna do today, because this palette really, I don't know what else I'd be able to do besides a pretty soft glam. I don't think you could get too crazy with this look, and I did say earlier that you probably could, but I don't know, as I was trying to decide what to do with my lid work, I don't know how crazy one could get with this palette. So, which is not bad. I like that. I like a palette I could use every day rather than a palette that I can break out for the ball or for an event. I much more prefer this type of palette. But I mean, these colors here are beautiful. So I want to go in with Merlot, Begonia, and Iced Rose, which is pretty basic, but I don't really care that much. So I'm going to go in with Merlot first. Oh, y'all, these things are packed in there so well. I took a good bit of Merlot off. I don't know if y'all can see on this little brush, but I took a good chunk of Merlot off, and it did not really leave any fallout like I was expecting it to. So I'm going to go in with Merlot on the outer third of my eye. I'm going to break this lid into 3. Oh, wow. Whoa. This Merlot, by the way, is almost the exact color of the actual palette itself. It's beautiful, winey, purpley color, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. So next, I'm going to do Begonia, which is this color right here in the middle, which is like kind of under, which let me say, as I'm working with this, I really always have loved that sometimes LORAC, and lately it's been a little different, but sometimes they'll pair up nudes and shimmers. Like if you look at like Iced Rose and Brulee, they kind of go together. Silver Mauve and Pecan kind of go together. Rosebud and Begonia kind of go together. This one, only in this area do we kind of lose that. But I really like that, because if you are somebody who's not really super into makeup and want to do a look, I can tell you, hey, you go into whatever and you're going to wear a gold dress or whatever. You want to look normal. You want to have like a, not normal, but you know, an amped up version of your natural self. Stick with these and you should be good. It's a lot easier. I really like that. So going to go with Begonia, and that's going to be in the center of my eye. Again, I'm picking up a lot. Like I can see the brush making moves in the square, but I can't see it coming off. So that's really cool. So I'm putting begonia just in the center, and I'm not dumb. I can clearly see that it's not blended. I will blend it in a second, but I like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna blend these two out. But something I can say about this palette that I find is different than a lot of palettes I review. This palette in particular has colors on your eye look pretty similar to the ones in the pan, like really similar to the ones in the pan. So I just wanted to mention that. It's coming out really pretty. So all I'm doing is blending that line between begonia and Merlot. Which, let me say, I usually have to look back at the palette for that. I can't believe I just did that on my own. Proud of me. Or they picked really good names. Or both, maybe. Okay, so now we have a little gradient going on between Merlot, which is the outer third, and begonia, which is in the middle. Now I'm going to go in with this beautiful ice rose. Let me see. I can't wait to see what that looks like. Like, when I looked at this palette online, ice rose was the color that I was like, I can't wait to check that out. Oh my gosh, it's really pretty. Ooh, 2. I mean, not 2. 3, they might be giving you a little competition. So again, I'm going to use that to blur my lid out, and it looks really good. Not blur, blend my lid. So I'm going to now go for my, I'm going to do a quick little highlight on the top, and I'm going to also do a contour before I move on to the next part of my look. So I'm going to go with this gorgeous Soft Pro, which I think is a no-brainer for a brow highlight. Soft Pro right here. I'm going to just, I accidentally just hit Soft Pro with this brush, and look what happened. I accidentally hit it with that. So the pigment is going to be off the chain. So I'm going to put that in the highest point of my arch. Yes. Yes. Right now I'm talking about Soft Pro. I would use that as an all over face highlight. Not all over, but like a blinding highlight, like here, bridge of the nose, all that. I would, if the pans weren't so little, I would use that because that is such a beautiful highlight. Like, I don't know if it, I know it's showing up on camera because of the lights being so bright, but like, it just looks like that. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Black currant is right here. This is the last corner, which what I like about black currant, aside from the fact that it's pretty, is that it seems to match the rest of the palette, and I really like that. So I'm gonna dip my eye contour brush from Shani. I should have been lighter handed. So this is what just came off of that pan, y'all. Like, I mean, LORAC is not skimping with the color, and they never really have, honestly. Ever since the first one I got, like, I just did both eyes with this contour and didn't have to go back and dip again, which is kind of crazy because I never really have that issue. So now I'm just coming back. That's why I used to call this dotting my V, making the V here and going into the crease with it so that we get some dimension on our lid, and we get some dimension on our crease. So I'm going to grab a brush to blend that all together. And for said brush, I'm going to use this SM Miss Glam Angled Eye Brush W20. That also was an Ipsy, which I have to say, the majority of my eyeshadow brushes that I use over and over again did come from Ipsy. So if you haven't checked out my Ipsy reviews, I'll put a link for the last one here, and then that should take you to the rest of them. I'm kind of in love with the Ipsy eyeshadow brushes that they send. This palette is insane. I love it so much. I have been saying for years that the LORAC, well, since last year, I just got it last year, but the LORAC Pro Palette 3 palette is my favorite. But this one is definitely a close second. It's really good. Like, I really love this so far. And I'm not a big purple eyeshadow wearer. Like, I dare you to go back in the archives and find like a tutorial Tuesday. I do purple eye. Look, no, I don't have any because it's not my vibe. So I want to blend everything together really quickly. And in order to make that happen, I am going to go back with the Bogage brush that I used earlier, that I used originally to apply my transition shade. I'm going to use the Bogage brush to blend everything together. Just because this brush is amazing, and it's probably my favorite brush I own. My favorite eyeshadow brush for sure. Okay, guys, so that is our look so far using the LORAC Pro Palette 4. So far, so good. And I'm going to go and do some more of my look, and I'll come back with y'all so that we can do the under eye look later. Now that my foundation is done, I want to, and my liner, mascara, all that stuff is finished, I'm going to go ahead and work on my under eye look with you guys. So I'm going to go in with, there's so many freaking options here, y'all. I think I like Rosebud. So we're going to go with Rosebud, which is this beautiful, like, pink taupe brownie color here. I know I said a lot of colors, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to go in. Okay. I'm going to apply that lower than my lash line just because I want a little bit of smoke. Since this is such a kind of like natural, ooh. Okay, since it's kind of a natural glam-esque look, I don't want to go super crazy with it, but I do want to pull it down enough where you see. I really like how that looks. That's beautiful. This palette is really good, y'all. Silver Mauve. We're going with Silver Mauve and the Tear Duck. So the original one, honestly, is my least favorite one out of all of the 4 now that I own. It just didn't wow me like the other ones. Like, they definitely went in and made improvements. That Silver Mauve is beautiful. Every shade I've tried on so far is gorgeous. Like, the last thing I'm going to do with this palette is line under my eye with an eyeshadow color. I was going to use a liner, but I saw they have Midnight here, which is this gorgeous, like, kind of graphite-y color. I'm going to pull this down, and I want to connect it with that wing. I may even actually like this one more than 3. I'd have to do like a head-to-head comparison because I love both of them so much. But this palette is amazing. I don't know what they started doing after the second one, but this is beautiful, y'all. The amount of payout I got from Midnight to do my under eye look is ridiculous, like crazy. Like, I love this. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. So I'm finished with the palette. I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go and I can't even talk because I like this palette so much. I'm gonna go and finish my look off. Oh, girl. Okay, so while I was gone, I was kind of going through it, but the Best Revenge is looking good. So let's talk about some more makeup. So this is the finished look. Officially, it did change. It was different earlier, but I had to change it because I messed up my eye makeup a little bit. But I did still use the LORAC Pro Palette 4. I did match my lips to it because, it looks good. It looked good together, right? So this is our finished look. I love this palette. I'm going to now swatch the LORAC Pro Palette 4. Also, after I'm finished swatching it, I do want to compare it to the other 3 LORAC Pro palettes that I own, including my favorite palette of all time, the LORAC Pro Palette 3. So, all right. So, swatchity swatch time. So, these are our colors. Again, I want to, I always forget to do this. I always say I'm going to do this and then I change my mind and then I do it. This is the actual, these are the actual pans. These are the shades. On the top, you've got your mattes. On the bottom, we have the shimmers, which again, LORAC has notoriously beautiful shimmers. They have great mattes too, but I would like to show you guys real quick how much of the product I take. And I've seen people like swatch and they like paint. I don't want to paint a wall with a pan of eyeshadow. I want to show y'all what it actually looks like. I just take my finger and I'll go back one way and back the other way. I'm not pushing super hard on it because I don't want to mess my pans up. I love y'all, but y'all ain't paying for these palettes. So I'm just going to go back and forth just like that. Arm with them. And I'm going to also tell you the names of them, and the ones I used I will mention. So I am going to do the mattes first. So first for the mattes, we have Chantilly. Okay, Chantilly's all right. It's all right. I think I'll do the mattes this way, and then I'll come back this way for the shimmers because I cannot stand having like a leaning tower of swatches, which I'm going to have again because I always do. So next, and by the way, Chantilly's my favorite kind of cake, just so we're clear. Brulee, another dessert. I love a good creme brulee. So, brulee. These swatches are pretty weak. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Pecan. I'm from Louisiana, so literally pecans are like... The next shade is Rosebud. Rosebud swatched really well. Far better than those chalky other 3. I don't know if y'all can see. I hope I'm not like blocking y'all's view. Pecans are special to me. So Warm Ginger is next. Now, I did say this about the... oh, that's pretty. Okay, Warm Ginger came out really good. I did say this about the OG Pro Palette that I actually reviewed in a previous video. I don't know when the video is going to post, but I actually swatched it yesterday or the day before. I said yesterday, whenever I swatched that one, that the mattes are swatching incredibly weak, in my opinion, compared to what they show up like on the eyes. So there's just that. So, okay, so we were on Warm Ginger. Now the OG palette, since I'm starting to get kind of into the shimmers, the OG palette, the original LORAC Pro Palette, it kind of, the glitters really fell out. Like, they got all over the place when I swatched them. So far, I've only done 2 of the glitters here, but I'm not having the same issue. So, gonna go in with Cognac. Sure could use a glass right now. That swatched really nicely. So, cognac. And then, oh no, that's not, oh yeah, okay, cognac. Amaretto, which amaretto I did use tonight, I think. I believe amaretto was my transition color. And it is swatching gorgeously as well. Then we have black currant, which is the last color, which is right here. It's that really pretty deep purple that I actually used as my eye contour. And it's beautiful. It's showing up really gorgeously right here. So, and then our shimmers, which I love, Soft Petal. Yeah, their shimmers definitely show up better than the matte. Soft Petal I used on the inner corner of my eye. No, I didn't. I used that as my highlight for my eyebrow, which is still gorgeous. Iced Rose, that I used on the inner corner of my eyelid. Look at Iced Rose, y'all. Iced Rose. Oh my God. Iced Rose. I do see some blocking here, but that's all good. Okay. What do y'all think of this, like, hot purple lipstick? Because I'm kind of into it. I believe we left off on Iced Rose. Silver Mauve is when I really, really like this color, so I'm excited to swatch it. I'm going to get a little closer, y'all, too, so that y'all can really see. All right. So we have, first and foremost, Silver Mauve. Oh, wait, I was doing them this way, so. Silver Mauve. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Silver Mauve is beautiful. Bologna. No, I'm sorry, Begonia. Right? Is it Begonia? I think it's Begonia. Yeah, Begonia, like the flower. So Begonia right here. Gorgeous again. Candlelight in the pan is beautiful. So I want to see what Candlelight looks like. Oh my God. Oh my God. That thing is disgusting. It's so pretty. Candlelight. Okay. Okay. Merlot, which I used on the outer third of my eye today. Merlot is showing up okay, but I really don't think it's the color's fault. My hands are sweating now because I've been sitting here for so long. Java. Java's another one not swatching very well. I'm not going to go through a whole big nine again. I'm just going to do Midnight real quick with you guys since it's the last shade. And Midnight, which Midnight I used as an eyeliner underneath because although it is a black and it is a shimmer shade, when you actually look at it and apply it, it's not very shimmery. Like, see, these are catching the light like that. Black, I mean, Midnight, whatever it's called. Midnight doesn't really do that. So I'm going to put this away while I talk to y'all about it a little bit. And I'm also going to wipe my fingers off while I'm doing that. So, okay. So there are 4 LORAC Pro Palettes. I'm going to show them all to y'all in a second. I fly through makeup wipes, y'all, like so quick. It's ridiculous. And it's because of y'all. No, I'm kidding. It's because I'm always swatching and I don't like to have them on for too long. But look how beautiful this is. Like, this is so pretty. It looks like art. Just their swatches look like art. So beautiful. So I want to go through each one of the LORAC Pro Palettes with y'all since that is the last one that I needed to buy. And it is also the last one that's been released. All right, so this is the OG one, the LORAC Pro Palette. So this is the first one, and I'm actually going to fold them down because I want to compare them all in a minute. This is the first ever LORAC Pro Palette. This one is 2, which is actually the second one I purchased. I actually purchased them out of order. I got 3, 2, 1, 4. So this is Pro Palette 2, which is good. It's like a cooler version of the first one. Not cool like You're So Cool, cool like cooler in tone, whatever, you know. This is the LORAC 3 Pro Palette, which is LORAC Pro Palette 3, which is my favorite palette of all time, which you can tell that it's my favorite palette because look at all the wear and tear on it, y'all. It's kind of funny. So this is the Pro Palette 3. Y'all can see that it's all kinds of torn up. And last but not least, the newbie of the bunch, 4. So that's this one. So this is 3, my favorite of all time, right? My favorite palette, period. Not just from LORAC, like my favorite. I would consider 4 being my second favorite behind 3. But again, you can kind of see why. They're very, very similar. Very similar. Beautiful, but similar. Like, I think if you have one, you probably don't need the other one. And if I had to tell you to get one, I'd probably still tell you to get 3, but just as I'm more familiar with it. But 4 is outstanding. I mean, it is gorgeous. So, okay, people. So just on the off chance that you do not have the same aesthetic as I do and you're not sure which one to get and you don't want to... Again, now at this... I bet I can hold... Yeah, okay, cool. Now at this point, I have all 4 of the LORAC Pro palettes. And so I can pretty much kind of tell you what I think about each one of them are my favorites. For sure. No joke. For sure. Now, mostly because the color stories are better. I just love the color stories of both of these. So the 4, it's easy to tell that they improved upon each one as they were working. Like, they got the first one out, they released it, you know, people liked it or they didn't, whatever. And they made complaints, or not complaints, but criticized it and told them what was wrong with it. They listened to their people and they moved on with it. And I think that's a great thing. Another thing about all of these palettes, specifically the 4th one, though, since we're reviewing the 4th one, but it can be said for all of them, the design of these palettes, the packaging is outstanding. I've always said that the LORAC Pro palettes look just that. They look professional. Now, I am not a professional makeup artist, but when I take them out and lay them out on the table, I feel more professional. Just the slim packaging of it, the big, huge mirror. I love the layout of the way the colors are. I like that each one is a different color. Each palette itself, like the outside part, is a different color. But what I really like about it is that they all share so many similarities. Like, if you look at the peach palette, the chocolate bar palette, and the chocolate bonbons palette, Too Faced kept reinventing them, which isn't a bad thing to stay fresh. But sometimes I do like that literally all 4 of these palettes look the same. It just looks more sophisticated. It looks more mature. I just really like it. You're paying a pretty penny for these. These are $39 each. So for me, that's still high for an eyeshadow palette. I personally probably wouldn't pay that much for any eyeshadow palette. If I would drop 40 plus on any palette, it would probably be the LORAC Pros, only because I love them so much and I use them all the time, which is crazy because the pans are so little. The pans on each one of them, the pans are relatively small compared to some of the other palettes I own, but you don't have to use a lot. Like, you guys saw what I swatched. It was literally forward, backwards, done. As far as diamonds go, what would I rate this palette? I think it's kind of obvious. I definitely would give it a 5 out of 5 diamonds because it's just beautiful. I love the color of the actual palette itself. I love the color story. And you get this palette as well as any other LORAC Pro palette, you do receive their behind the scenes primer. This is actually still the primer from the first palette I bought, which was the LORAC Pro Palette 3. This is still my original one. I have not run out of it. I've been asking my family, I'm like, do you want another primer? Because now I have 4 of them of the same thing. I don't need that many in stock, but it's just a great palette. So definitely a 5 out of 5 for the LORAC Pro Palette 4 because I love it. So, girl, thank y'all for kind of cheering me up and hanging out with me because it's been kind of a rough night, you know. So playing with makeup always is a great escape for me. With everything going on in the world right now, between, you know, the sickness that's out there, that all of the stuff that's going on with me, with the migraines and the accents, and then now this kind of breakup situation and stuff, makeup not only kind of covers your imperfections on your face, for me, it's so fun. It kind of covers my imperfections I'm going through in life as well. So just know if you're going through something, I'm here for you. I really am. We can sit here and talk about makeup, girl. You can leave stuff in the comments. I will reply because I check them all the time. I do respond. I know I have a smaller platform at the moment. No, again, I'm not just somebody reviewing makeup with you. I'm your girl. I want to be your girl. We want to hang out, talk, chit-chat, kee-kee. He did this, she said that, blah, blah, blah. I'm here for it. So, again, thank you so much for watching this week's edition of First Impression Fridays. I will be leaving a corresponding blog post beneath that's going to give you more information, as well as a link to purchase the LORAC Pro Palette for the best deal at the time. And I will see you next Friday. Same glam time, same glam channel. Bye.